right. So for people that don't know, Joe is from the Alchemist team, and he is the person responsible for the Crucible development. So we are going to have also, if somebody has some questions about our partnership, and I have seen already in the channel that they are questions, then we are here to answer, and more in depth on what the Crucible is, and you want to know a little bit more about Alchemist if you don't know, and you come from our communities in Popsicle and Abracadabra, then please go ahead and make your questions. They are here. They are our partners. They are fucking amazing. So I'm very happy that you join us today, man. And looking forward to our collaboration.
Absolutely. I think it's a fantastic thing, and it does open a lot of directions in the future as well. So yeah, we're very glad from our side as well to be working together in this respect.
Yeah. So it's 18 hours. I'm fucking excited. I finally hanged my stupid McDonald's hat, even if this crazy market it keeps dumping and I'm keep losing money, but it's only paper loss because I never sell. That's why I'm always wrecked. And I finally have our McFlurry because of the day is red. McFlurry hat. And I have the biggest announcement of all of them. In the next 24 hours, because you guys know that I'm a fucking ape and I love to do stealth launches, you will find that there is a new section into the popsicle.finance website. And this section is just for apes. No, it's for everybody. And is Sorbetto Fragola. What the fuck is Sorbetto Fragola? This is what we're going to discuss today. What are the strategies of Sorbetto Fragola is what I would like to discuss. And I have seen many questions in that regards. What is going to look like in the future, Sorbetto in general, something that I also would like to talk about today. And we have some governance situation to address about ICE and NICE or NICE. So what is going to happen on that side, because it's very important for all of us. The juicy fees, what is going to happen with that money. And closing remarks, what is going to happen in between our partnership with Alchemy and Abracadabra. So this is a little bit wrapping up what I would like to discuss, and I will start with Sorbetto Fragola. So everybody of you know that the only one that was trying to do something similar to us was in the regards of specifically on rebalancing on V3 was Visor Finance. They rugged, whatever. It was a centralized solution, and actually they were taking some code from the guys on Alchemist, which is funny because it's funny that we actually have a partnership with them now. And what happens is that we are launching the first true decentralized rebalancer, auto-compounder, and I would say liquidity mining for Uniswap V3. This is very exciting. There has been a lot of FUD about Uniswap V3 because of the reason that people don't really understand how to use it, and they're losing money. They're not making a very good use of the efficiency claimed by Uniswap, that it could be much, much better than the version 2, and existing position not can be used as collateral, so they're not very composable, and the fee structure is not, or the fee claiming is not very intelligent. There is no auto compounding, so basically you're not earning the true maximum potential on what you could be earning out of your position. And all of this mix, while we was developing Sorbetto Limone, that is the largest rebalancer for all sorts of AMM, we decided about a month and a half ago, if you guys remember, that we were going to focus on creating this component Fragola for allowing the larger Sorbetto ecosystem to be able to take opportunities across any type of AMM and any type of solution that pops out. Just so you know, we will start working also on the 3 crypto pool from Curve. That is super interesting. But today we focus mainly on the V3. What is fantastic of the work that has been done is that, as you can see, we are compatible with a lot of things that have been built already. So when we first approached the Alchemist team, we have been talking about how do we make a version 2 or something that really works with V3 out of the Crucible, because I really liked their idea of how an NFT can become sort of a smart wallet, or sort of like your new independent manager for all your DeFi and non-DeFi positions. And we discussed this. And the problem here was that we had to think about really making a complete new system. And this is not truly how I want to experience DeFi. DeFi is so powerful for the reason that it's very composable. And with this idea in mind, we developed Sorbetto Fragola to be compatible to the Crucible from day one, and not only, of course, to the Crucible. We developed it also to be compatible with Abracadabra lending markets, so Kashi, and any other potential contract that could come out in the future. This I think it's very, very important. So what happens here is I think I should explain a little bit how V3 works, so you guys understand what is the actual work that has been done here. Right now, what V3 does is you can imagine that instead of a traditional AMM that enters a pool with the 50% one side and 50% another, and goes that liquidity, it's like a pyramid, so it goes to almost from 0 to the point of the price range that is in that moment, so the price at that moment, and the other side goes from 0 to that again. So we have this pyramid, and the line in the middle of this pyramid moves, and as it moves, the liquidity tries to stay always 50% and 50%, because of course the price on one side it's more and the other it's less. So you always have this movement around, and that's how it works today with V2 and Sushi Swap, Pancake, or whatever you use. And this is not very efficient. I agree with the work that Paradigm, I think, was the developer of this, not even Uniswap themselves. Paradigm has developed on the V3 because they said this is a very inefficient way, and this is not how the market works today. Because if you look at the normal order books on Bitfinex, for example, you will see that it's very, very thin, the liquidity on the top, and then there is these pockets of liquidity or bids and asks that compose it in a very unique way, depending on the state of the market. So you can find sometimes that you find walls, or you find price ranges in which you would have more buy, more ask, or others in which you would have more bid. So how can we structure this new idea to work in a sense in which we try to capitalize on these pockets of liquidity and generate the maximum return for somebody that is an LPer and is seeking at the end of the day a return on his investment, mostly through staying has less risk as possible, but to have the maximum amount of fees. So we are searching yield in this case rather than directional exposure. So, and that's basically what the market maker always does, right? The market maker in a centralized exchange doesn't want to have, it wants to have as little exposure, directional exposure as possible, and wants to go for the yield. So each time it can market make the market and arbitrage that market is trying to gain fees out of the inefficiency or the price difference in between one market and another, like Bitfinex and Binance, right? So what we want is becoming that liquidity provider, that market maker. And in our case, the interesting part of something like Uniswap P3 is that instead of paying fees for trading, we get paid for giving this liquidity, And we try to earn this 0.3% or 0.05% each trade in which our liquidity is utilized. The interesting part of this is that in a certain way, we become the exchange, right? And with the Sorbetto Fragola, the tighter, the more utilized our liquidity is, the more percentage of all the trades that are done through that pool we gain. And in a certain sense, if we would say that we are 80% or 90% of the liquidity into the tight range of what is trading today, we earn pretty much all the fees of the pool, which is super interesting, right? So this is what Sorbetto Fragola is aiming to do, but in a risk-adjusted way. So we need to think that the tighter we are, the more impermanent loss we can have, because every time we rebalance, in reality, we could almost consider that we are taking a loss, because we arrived to a point in which our liquidity is so unbalanced, in the case of like Ethereum or USDT, that we need to buy or sell it, get more USDT, and in that moment, if of course the direction of the whole pool has been on towards from 2,000 to 3,000, maybe we have made money, right? But our aim is not to make money to be directional, because in the opposite case, we are losing money because the value on which we entered in the pool is now lower, because we have been net sellers or net buyers, right? In the case of net buyers, we are losing money. In the case of net seller, we are a little bit making money, okay? So what Sorbetto Fragola does is taking a strategy that we have been testing for weeks and making the range out of that strategy and maintaining your liquidity into the range of certain pairs. So it's very simple. We don't want it super complicated, but it's simple in commerce, of course. But we don't want it super complicated in the strategies, because we realize that the more complicated you make it, the more risk exists to not make any money at the end of the year, right? So that's not what we want to do. Now, the rebalancing, and I think with all this explanation, I will answer most of the questions that I have seen in the channel of the AMA. This rebalancing works out of governance. Right now, for a week or two, we're going to do it ourselves, just for safety reason, with our multi-sign. But the governance has voted the new multi-signer, so this is going to be done by governance on the Gnosis Vault. The rebalancing is very similar to how it works already on Yearn. So there is nothing strange here. The governance can't move any funds, can't do anything. They just can perform the action of rebalancing. What recently I've been looking into is Chainlink. On Chainlink, they have new Keeper products, and I'm looking forward to access their beta to see if maybe we can use their solutions, or we have here like our friends at Alchemist also work with Flashbots. So there is a lot of ways in which we can improve this the decentralization on the rebalancing. But at the moment it's quite simple, and we want to make it clear and simple and transparent for everybody how it works. I'm also happy to say that everything is audited, and we published the audit today together with the code. Actually, the audit is with the code that it's already out there. So the last commit that has been done is the one that has been looked into the last report that we received. So everything is cleared. I'm confident. We still have a second audit undergoing. I think it's still important. And I would like to have a third one no matter what. because if we want to appeal to institutional clients, we need to be as safe as possible, and that's what we have to be aware of. So let's start with having an example. So right today, we say that we enter the Sorbetto Fragola pool of Ethereum USDT. We enter with 10 ETH and $18,000, assuming that the ETH is 1,800. We assume that at the moment the Sorbetto is actually at the 50-50 range. So we have 50% ETH, 50% USDT. Then things change, right? So when it moves in between our range is set to take the low and the high of the last 7 days and add 5% spread out of it and stay in that range. If the price changes to 80% of the pool, so 80% of the pool becomes ETH or 80% of the pool becomes USDT, then the contracts allows us to trigger a rebalancing. In that case, the contracts sells apart, auto-compounds the fees that have been generated at that point. So it takes all the fees, it sells them or buys, whatever, and it moves the range again in a centric way, 50-50. So it tries to stay there. And what it does is to follow, let's say, try to follow as much as possible the movement of the market without doing it too often. So we can kind of have a strategy that is not overcomplicated, is simple, but it keeps everything smooth and nice, and we keep making money all the way in. More importantly, the auto-compounding serves a very big opportunity here because it does affect, if the rebalancing happens like 2 or 3 times a week, at the end, the APR that we're going to get at the end of the year on the longer term is highly effective. So it's very, very, very good. And it can be in certain cases even double just because of the auto-compounding. That is something that people don't want to do, or maybe they spend too much money in gas fees on doing, and we are doing it all the time for you when we are balanced. So we calculate really the optimal way to re-enter in the range and spend the least amount of money possible. Now, this strategy contract, we can kind of change. We can have multiple strategy contracts. That's how the setup works. These strategy contracts, I think, should be voted and looked into by the governance of Popsicle. Let's not forget that the Blockchain Research Lab has been working now since a couple of months into the research of DeFi. They will publish on a journal a report in a few weeks, as I understand, and we will have a lot of data to work on towards the next strategies that we're going to build up. But we are going to try to stay as conservative as possible. I am the legendary ape, but in this case, I think LP is an asset class for a very long-term investor that is seeking a certain risk-adjusted return over a long period of time. So we need to adjust our products and strategy based on this assumption. Then, of course, there can be some interest on having the maximum fees or whatever, but I think directional at that point would be better, and there is arbitrage strategies that are more interesting on that aspect. About the APY and the APR, however, what you want. So what is the scalability of this? So we can say that last week we have had around 3,200% of APR. Of APY. Now, let's say that some people say and ask me, yeah, but how scalable that is and stuff like that. Yeah, let's not forget that we enter a pool that already has hundreds of millions of dollars in the pool. So there is competition already. in certain ranges. It's just that liquidity is not distributed efficiently, and the fees that are collected are very, very high. So I would assume that even if we push the liquidity into our range, still the fees that are collected by the pool and the ratio in which the asset management ratio that we can have, so the asset under management over Popsicle in front of the debt of the pool, is not going to be more than 30 or 40% of the pool. So I still consider that we can have very, very, very high APYs. And I'm looking forward to see this over the next week, because we can calculate it dynamically. The more choppy days look like this, the better, because these weeks have been quite in the very, very choppy, right in the range in which we are. So it's been exceptional. There's going to be time in which it's not going to be as good because it's very directional, but now the market is very forgiving for LP. So it's very, very good. And this is non-incentivized. Like the APY that we are talking about is just by fees generated. So I don't know how we are going to structure liquidity incentivization, but I think just by showing the effectiveness of our protocol in front of what others are doing is going to be already a huge driver for people to add liquidity to our positions, and it might not even require any further ICE incentives. So I guess that we will rediscuss in the next weeks the market cap and the circulating supply of ICE overall. And maybe we should think about reducing it by maybe 50 or 70 or 80% of the current potential circulating supply. So maybe burning it all. So this is something I'm looking forward to hear from you guys, and that's pretty much what I'm looking for on the governance side. Let's see on the AMA. So I responded. What triggers the rebalancing is the strategy contract. The first strategy contract is the 80-20. The audit is already done. When Sorbetto 24 hours from now.
I guess just quick in terms of the triggering, maybe if you want to speak towards the multi-signers and everything.
Yeah, so we have voted the multi-signer for this reason in advance, right? And the idea is that the Gnosis vote have to trigger these actions. So the multi-signers are fundamental for making everything work, and it's a setup very similar, I think, to Yearn, right? Yearn has a similar setup when they move funds in between strategies. I see that we have FP, ciao from Yearn, but it's a very similar setup. So the multi-signers, please, whoever wants to become a multi-signer and gets voted in, remember that is a commitment, so we should very likely reward the multi-signer with some monthly payment, because we're going to have some work to do. So
I think we can already say that if we already have two, as you said, that already went through the voting phase, the proposal phase, and we have 5 more candidates that are still in the proposal page. And if you want to look at their proposals, you can just go into our Discord server on resources, and I posted all the links there. If you want to be added to that list, just DM me and I will add you to the list, as I said.
Yeah. So I see that Giwed is asking, wrote a tweet about Sorbetto. This happens because the high weekly APY. So he is asking if this happens because of most of the LPs are out of range. In reality, who was out of range was Ethereum USDC, because it didn't have Sorbetto running. So the problem, it was of the opposite side. We were running Sorbetto on Ethereum USDT. And seems like LPers on that side, on the USDT side, understands better the ranging, and usually professionals use USDT, so I'm not it's not strange to me. I see that somebody is asking about the incentives for ice ETH pairs on LPing. So this is interesting. So I think that we will move. We will move all our liquidity mining towards using crucibles. And the interesting part here is that I want to move ICE ETH, ICE FTM, and ICE BSC into that. So it's something that we will need to speak also, guys, with you guys from Alchemist for the other chains too, if we're gonna do things also on BSC and FTM together. But the idea is that we're gonna use Sorbetto Limone, so the incentivization will change as soon as the Sorbetto Limone will come out. That is the rebalancer for the V2. And then we can put those into Crucible, the Popsicle LPs there, and we will do the incentives on all Sushi Swap, Uniswap V2, Uniswap V3 all together. So I think that is kind of like the aim here.
Do we maybe want Sal or Joey to quickly explain Crucible?
Yes,
for all the
would be super nice.
Would be super great, especially for all the people that don't know about Alchemist and Crucible.
Yeah, I think I'll pass it to Sal to give everyone an introduction to Alchemist first, and then I'll take over to explain a bit more about the Crucible specifically.
Thanks, Joe. I'm Sal. Can everyone hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. Awesome. Yep. So I'll give a quick intro to Alchemist in general. So Alchemist, really, the best way to put it is, we see ourselves as almost the Y Combinator of crypto. So we're not just about one product. We're basically a community. We were completely bootstrapped, no funding, and what we do is we kind of use inflation to fund development of awesome products that then feed value back into the Alchemist token and back to our community. We really, in terms of, what our plan is and what we're building, we always say the only plan is there is no plan. And this gives us maximum flexibility to build anything, anytime we want. So really we just get to choose the best things to build and we build them and we put them out there. So far we have 3 products. I'd say the first product was Crucible, and Joe is going to give you a bit more of an in-depth explanation of how that works. Really awesome product, really excited for it, and really excited for the collaboration with Popsicle. Our second product is Mystex. It's a it's a DEX aggregator built on top of Flashbots. And what it does is it basically protects you from front runners. And there's also some cool integrations we might be able to do there with Popsicle as well, just building on top of Flashbots technology. And our final product is Copper, which is a fair launch platform. We did a fair launch, balancer-based fair launch, and we said, hey, why not build a tool that makes it easier for other communities to have fair launches in the same way? Check out all our products, check out our community, check out our Discord. I'm not going to spend too long talking. I'm sure everyone wants to understand more about Crucible. So I'll hand over to Joe and just close with, I'm really excited for this collaboration. Popsicle has an awesome use case, and I think Daniel's the right person to implement that use case. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how far we can take this collaboration. So Joe, I'll hand over to you.
Cool, thanks, Sal. I just want to get in one last thing. The Mystex team have built a fantastic interface for people who to see if they've been front-runned in the past. So another one of our products to check out is sandwich.wtf. But yeah, if you check out the Alchemist Twitter, you'll be able to find links to all our products in there. So just to start with Crucible and to give everyone a deeper understanding of what it is. The Crucible, the best way to describe it is a universal vault. And basically it's a NFT, so it's an ERC-721 token with a smart contract built on top of it, which allows for you to actually keep or contain within it ERC-20 tokens, and for the Crucible itself to interact with other smart contracts in order to activate locks against tokens which are stored within it. So Our contract interaction is with our reward programs, which are called Alladels. So an Alladel is a staking program which uses a Crucible as a non-custodial base for keeping, LP tokens or any kind of tokens. So you could potentially, the way that we apply in our particular way is we have a Mist ETH LP pair on Uniswap V2. So users can get the V2 token and they can transfer it into their Crucible, and they can use that to stake against our reward contracts. And what happens then, they're rewarded for keeping their tokens locked within the Crucible for a longer period of time. So just to go back on that, so the great thing is it's non-custodial. So the Crucible sits within your wallet, and then the tokens sit within the Crucible, and that's where they're locked inside. So to mint a Crucible, it's a process that has to be done through our front end. It does require the Mist ETH LP from Uniswap V2, and there's a little bit of gas cost involved. But using the two, then the first thing that happens is the Crucible is created, and the LP that you've used to create the Crucible is automatically applied into our Alladel. We just released a new Alladel yesterday, so the LP will be automatically subscribed to the V1.5 Alladel, and then users will start to earn rewards automatically from there. So the great thing about the Crucible, obviously, it can interact with other reward programs. So the intention here, I suppose, is for Popsicle Finance to add that liquidity mining layer on top of this yield enhancement contract that they've made, in order to give those users extra rewards for taking part. So it's a very, very interesting thing. It's something that's not really been done before, which is the passive liquidity mining on top of Uniswap V3. And I think it's a fantastic thing for our community and for the Popsicle community as well. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight on how the Crucible works. But obviously I'm sure everyone has some questions, because it is quite a technical thing, very, very different. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
I think Caesar wanted to come on stage. Is that good? Can you add him to speakers?
Yep.
And by the way, guys, if you have any question, please request to be added to the stage, because
Absolutely.
Everybody has a voice here at Popsicle. So please.
Hello. I think you can hear me now.
Ciao.
Hi, Caesar. Ciao.
Yep.
Ciao, Caesar.
Hey.
Can you hear? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is a question for Sal about the Crucible. I just want to make sure I understand it. Like, you take any of your ERC20 tokens. In this case, we're using LPs, or in the intention is to use LPs. So you, instead of staking the LP into the contract and having nothing in your wallet, like most staking farms, you stake the LP like wrapped inside another wrapping, like the Crucible wrapping. And then just by having that Crucible in your wallet, you can then claim farming rewards wherever that Crucible is allowed to claim farming rewards from. Is this correct?
Yeah, so that's a good way to describe it. The Crucible also has another interesting aspect to it. So, with the LP sitting within your Crucible, within your wallet, you could actually, so every contract it interacts with for staking, we call it a delegate. You could also have multiple delegates lock up the same quantity of token which is within your Crucible. So we have also a stackable lock system. So you could potentially stake a portion of LP to several different reward contracts, For example, if Popsicle wanted to open several reward contracts for the same LP pairs, but, offer different rewards for each, then users could use the same amount of LP across all those reward contracts and stake and stack the
And that
lots.
is exactly one of the reasons why I wanted to do the collaboration with you guys, because it's a perfect use cases for certain farms that have different rewards on top, and you can use your same LP tokens everywhere, and attribute it where you want them to be. So that's I think, and also, by the way, you can make it look cool. That's the whole reason why.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. We're working on the art for Crucible, so hopefully something is going to be released to public in the very near future. But the other thing about Crucible, so we want it to be interactable with loads of other platforms. So it's not just going to be about our platform, your platform. The idea is really it could be used as some way of holding your portfolio. It could also be a safe way to keep your tokens as well. So it's just a single item which you move, and your whole portfolio will move with it. So even with your Crucible, for example, having several stakes within, earning rewards against different contracts, you can still move your Crucible on to different wallets. You could put it, for example, on OpenSea and sell your whole portfolio, which is a very, very interesting thing, because you'll be also selling your future potential rewards, not just whatever's stored inside. And it has a lot of use cases. Obviously, we're just getting started. And this is a perfect application for it.
Super exciting. I can't wait to have a Crucible that looks like a melting popsicle, because ice have been melting recently. So that's how my portfolio looks like.
We might have to get you in touch with the NFT team to get something down for you.
Because my portfolio has been melting in the last weeks. So it needs to look like that. My Crucible. I think a lot of people here feel my same pain. We share the pain.
Oh yeah, for sure. Being in this for the long run it's been very interesting.
Anyone has any question? Please go ahead about Alchemist, Popsicle, Sorbetto, my dog. Whatever you have in mind, please.
Just raise your hand. I'll unmute you.
Yeah.
Anyway, Caesar connection just died, so he said to thank you for your answer.
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but I will repeat it to him, I think.
It's great to have a nice question like that. That was a very good question as well. So anyone who has any type of question, whether it's a small technical one or any level of question, I'm happy to answer.
We have Nictrix. Hi, go ahead.
Ciao.
Yeah, I just heard about Crucible. That look interesting. So do I know is that contracts already available in public? Is there any way we can see the contract?
Yeah, all our contracts are open source, so they're on GitHub. So if you wanted to find them, so you go to github.com/Alchemist coin and then /Alchemist. So there's all the smart contracts for our Crucible and our Aladale contracts in there, and the contracts which also control, the Aladales as well.
Yeah, thanks. That Crucible looks super nice.
Thanks for your question.
By the way, there was a question that now reminds me, the ice and ice, or ice is nice situation. Ice is going to buy, the fees from the Fragola are going to buy on the market ice. So you're going to receive ice. Just so you know.
Actually, there is another question now that I reminded of this. There was the one guy, Fazel, who asked us, how will the treasury fees collected by Fragola in the beginning be distributed?
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
via an
what I'm
airdrop?
saying.
Yeah, can you elaborate more a little bit about it?
They go to the multi-sign and then they buy ice and they distribute it to an ice because the an ice contract is ready. So we just need to add it to the front end. So whose stake will get it?
But they will be distributed all together, or how?
Yeah, why shouldn't? Yeah, all together. I mean, weekly, like we are doing with SSPL.
Okay.
I think we have a speaker. CryptoLib. Ciao.
You can unmute yourself, I think.
Yeah. Well, when you will figure it out. Any other questions?
Should we talk about like how quickly we'll be adding new pairs, or like how new pairs will get decided and so forth? Kind of touching upon the aspect of that obviously there needs to be a decent amount of volume and everything because of the fact of front running and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, the situation right now is that we are going to try to add always the top 10 pairs on each on Uniswap V3. Another thing that I saw that somebody was asking is about Arbitrium. I have a call with the Arbitrium team, follow-up call with the Arbitrium team on Monday. So I will be able to give you a timeline on when we will be able to deploy on Arbitrium based on that call. But the Uniswap V3 is not, as I understand, it's not going to be on Arbitrium, right? Squirrel?
So they're working on it, actually.
They're going to deploy on Arbitrium.
Yeah.
Damn, Silicon Valley is not going to be happy. They should be only on Optimism.
We have another speaker.
I guess the community won.
What's going on, y'all? Good
Ciao,
work,
Kevin.
Popsicle team.
Yo.
Hey, Kevin.
Good work, y'all.
Thank you.
This has kind of been a partnership of maybe my dreams. I'll get Alchemist and Popsicle coming together. Definitely a lot of synergy between what y'all are doing. Main thing I guess maybe I'm thinking about, and I've been wondering about watching from afar is, how close are we to seeing all of this come to the Phantom network? I know a lot of us definitely partake in the ETH, but due to those fees, it's a little challenging. Like maybe people here wondering who might be on the Phantom network. What's that looking like?
Why don't you create an Anon account and you fork V3 so I can deploy this on Phantom?
Deal.
No, I mean, for Sorbetto Limone, we are looking into about a month, and it's going to be there. George is going to kill me, but because I see he's listening. But about a month, it depends always on the audits. But now that it's more into bear market mode, it's easier to get the auditor to run. So it's going to be faster than what you think.
Yeah, I don't even think, for me, I think seeing what this first rollout with Fragola is going to look like is going to be equally as important. And I know from my perspective, I'm not feeling rushed or feeling like we need to see Limon come out right away. I think what y'all are going to do with Alchemist is kind of the perfect, is where I definitely agree attention and value can be created. So, definitely.
I think so. But the important thing is that, I see that, for example, Spada is here. Ciao, Bel. The situation is that we want to create a suite of products that can be used on a business-to-business level and also on the B2C level, right? So, in the case, for example, of Badger, we can use both Alchemist and Popsicle Fragola to allow them to have liquidity mining working perfectly on V3, then we can have the treasury management rebalancing through, for example, Sorbetto Limone, still with also the rewards paid on top, and a very broad allocation of those rewards across where the real liquidity is or where the real trading is happening. And even more interesting is, and I'm working on trying to understand how to deploy this, because we discussed this with Spada on how to optimize also some of their V3 positions like IBBTC, WBTC, for creating a Sorbetto Fragola that is almost a stable coin for Betto Fragola, right? That will allow the best range optimization for this type of almost stable pairs with IBBTC. So there is a lot of opportunity here, and as I always said, people need to work together, and we are kind of like the DeFi anon slash counter terrorists sort of situation, and I think the future is bright, because we will always be building, and
I have a question. So, it's in essence, do you think this is something that could be, what you're talking about is something that can be used in the space for B2B, B2C, as you said, and having that ability to be in both space. So in essence, is this a way that you think that even organizations that aren't necessarily in the finance tech space, that they'll be able to use maybe a part of their balance sheet or their liquid capital that's sitting, away for them? It's another vehicle for really any business, not even just big business, but maybe small, medium-sized businesses, to make use of liquid capital in a way where they're activating opportunities which might have been limited to higher net worth organizations.
Yeah, I think LPing is interesting for the reason that maybe it's not the highest grossing thing of all, because maybe lending is better, but lending has an inherent risk of lending, even if it's collateralized. On the other hand, LPing like something like Curve, or LPing on V3, USDT, USDC, the risk is very low. The payout is enough for being better than a traditional bank account. And that's why I have been focused so much on having 2, 3, 4 fucking audits, because the more security we can provide on our contracts, the better and the safer, and we can really intake funds from all sorts of institutional, non-institutional, accredited investors, normal people, and so on. And for example, I see that the FP is here from Yearn, and one of the things is that even Yearn could use Sorbetto as part of their strategies, because we are going to deploy USDC, USDT pair, DAI, USDT, DAI, USDC, and so on. So you can imagine that they have a strategy for single-sided curve on USDT Vault, Yearn Vault USDT, and Yearn Vault USDC, that is now dropping by a lot in APY. Still, these pools have, with auto-compounding and Sorbetto, very decent APY. So I'm sure that they can capitalize also on this kind of products that have no impermanent loss. So there is all sorts of...
Yeah, I was just about to say, I mean, if you look at lending rates right now, they're far worse than what APYs are if you're properly LPing, right? And also obviously LPing stablecoins. So it already shows that the lending isn't, like, everyone thinks that, in the bear market, you're just going to be lending out your stablecoins, but like there's no one to lend to, right? While there still is volumes on the stable swaps.
Exactly. And interestingly enough, I think that the future of Popsicle will be also to design strategies that are flat, so are not directional, but they still use the LPs from from like something like ETH USDT, because in some way, if we know, we always know what is going to happen to our LP, right? In a certain way. So we could theoretically cover the exposure on Ethereum dynamically and maintain a consistent exposure exclusively to USDT. And in that way, if it's profitable to short one side and maintain the other and still LPing, there we can activate very interesting strategies, completely decentralized, that would allow people to stay flat, so to stay non-directional, but still earn high APYs.
Yeah, or on the opposite side, right? Like, I think what you brought up, Kevin, in the end, LPing is it's a new asset class, right? And on the opposite side of what you just said, Danny, what you can really do also is that you can start using LPs for dollar cost averaging, right? As the price goes up, you're essentially selling part of your ETH. As the price goes down, you're buying more ETH, right? And so you can use LPs as a strategy while earning those fees as well. Because, I mean, once ETH is, I don't know, at 10K or whatever, you might want to be cashing out with some of your ETH. So why not put that into an LP now, and then kind of automatically dollar cost average out?
Not only earning fees, but also not paying fees. Let's not forget that when you trade when you are the liquidity provider, you're not paying the fees for selling, for being a net seller or a net buyer, which is super interesting, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why it's so interesting and why LPing, like, people kind of just look at it as being market making, but in reality, it's a completely new asset class that allows you to do so many different things. And I mean, that's exactly what we want to do with Popsicle, right? Just kind of.
It's alpha time. It's alpha time then. So now you're spoiling a little bit, but you guys have seen that we have been giving a context on creating an interface for apes.win and for making leverage trading or margin trading through Abracadabra. One integration there will be definitely creating scale orders through NFTs and LPs via Popsicle Finance. So we really cover the whole spectrum of what the trader would want to do with their liquidity and their money. So they want to sell scaled orders up to a certain extent, or margin buy, etc., etc. So the whole kind of picture is starting to show to the people of what we are actually doing, right?
You're going to basically be offering everything. Is this really, Danielle, is this really everything that you wanted to do and you're just making it available to us?
Yeah. Yeah, it's what I want to see in the market. And they always say, if nobody builds it, you should build it. I take it as a style of living, right? If nobody's going to do it, I'll do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. And I think that's why we're all definitely enjoying being a part of that. And, these AMAs, I feel like, are so important to let people, kind of just raise their questions and understand this. Because I'm sure, everybody here is maybe coming in at a different level. Some people might just be discovering Popsicle today. So to that degree, I think these AMAs really offer everybody an opportunity to understand why this is different and why this project has legs underneath it.
Hey, Kevin.
Ciao.
Hey, ciao, everybody. Kevin, I want to jump off your point because I am that ape seeing Popsicle today for the first time. And I'm one of a number of apes from the Alchemist community. So I guess I have a joint question for Joe and for Daniel. Besides preaching perseverance and patience, right? What's the next best action that we can be sharing with some of our other ape-minded fellows from the Alchemist community?
Well, I think if I can take this, I think that right now we will be working on supporting Mist Ethereum V3 pool and having a custom strategy for more illiquid assets. So it will be able to liquidity mine first. As the first project to do it on Uniswap V3 will be the MIS token. So I think that's a very actionable kind of thing, Raju.
Yeah, I think is still a lot to come. I can't specifically say right now what we're going to be working on in the future, but I do think it opens a lot of doors to other things. But yeah, Church, apologies, but you're going to have to be a bit patient to see what comes in the near future. But yeah, Daniel, you got it spot on.
Well, like I said, first thing is preaching that patience. So I appreciate the share, team.
Cool. Thanks for the good question.
Thank you. So, wrapping it up, any other question, fellow apes? Come on stage, say some stupid stuff. We're here to have fun. Don't be shy.
I see some of the Ice Boys in here as well.
Yeah, why the Ice Boys aren't making any noise? Yo, there we go.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, what's up?
Hey, David.
Hey. All right, so I didn't want to ask earlier because I came in late and I figured you might have answered this earlier, but can you go into a little bit more detail on the tokenomics of the ICE token and how it accrues? Is it a governance? I know it kind of like Spell, it accrues some value from the purchases, but thanks.
So the fees that we generate, we take a cut. Right now, we take a 10% cut on the LPing on Sorbetto, and this is used to purchase the ICE that is distributed to NICE holders. And in the future, I guess that we should consider burning some of that. But we need to, that is something up to governance, to be honest. I'm not leading this. I dumped all my token. Didn't you see that I rugged already, so I can't vote anything? So the important question, I'm still going to rug at $69. Ciao, Amadeo. Hello. Amadeo.
When he heard you're going to rug at 69, he left.
I think he rug pulled himself.
No, Amadeo. Come back, friend. What?
That also raises an interesting question. So, like, just to reiterate to everyone, like, having, DeFi is a very interesting place. And being able to use a Crucible, for example, to stake in a non-custodial way. So you keep ownership of whatever token you're staking. So in this case, we'll say PLP, for example, is a very interesting system. So just thought I'll throw that out there.
Nice. Love it.
Ciao, Popsicle team.
Ciao, friend. How are you doing?
Hey, Michael.
Good. I had, first I wanted to thank everyone for not only an amazing community and all the hard work everyone's doing, but also just the welcoming spirit of the entire community, especially the developers, Danny, Squirrel, and everyone else that I've interacted with on Discord. So thank you.
I love you, man.
My question was basically regarding Fragola. Excuse my lack of an Italian accent. But regarding like how much, I know there was talk on Discord about how we would keep it safe at the beginning, and I think Danny mentioned having some sort of cap on the amount of liquidity that will be allowed to enter Fragola at the beginning. Can you guys speak to how you imagine that being scaled up? Is it going to be?
It's going to be uncapped. Basta. We have all the audits and the safety now. We are gonna uncap it. It's gonna be open from the beginning.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
amazing.
reason
Thank
why
you.
that was going to be capped was because of the audit, but now it's through, so we can just ape.
Okay, so you guys aren't going to like scale the some sort of cap up as the number of audits come in. It's just the first audit is going to be like unlimited apage right from the outset, basically, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I think I'm really confident. I took a little bit more time, but at this point, I mean, if I'm gonna get wrecked, I mean, at least I know Julian is gonna write a nice article, like on the Rec News. What can I do? But I think it's solid. We are gonna. I would like Certora also to do the formal verification, but it's gonna be other two audits. Certic is doing it now; they're already doing it, so we can expect it again in about a week. Second publish, and then Certora formal verification, solid.
Amazing, thank you. And my last question would be: Can someone speak a little bit to the purpose of like having liquidity mining rewards on, for instance, Binance Smart Chain and Phantom from the outset? Is it simply to raise awareness for the ICE project on those chains, or is it in preparation for further products like Limon, which is supposed to, you guys are working on over the next couple months, hopefully releasing that?
Yeah, I think it's still important that we provide the markets that have deep liquidity for people to buy the ICE token, and also for us to buy the ICE token with the fees that we accrue. So it's important that we keep paying, I think, the LPers, because they're providing a service to the whole community, in my opinion. And at the same time, they're maintaining that liquidity that will be then migrated in a few weeks to Limone. What is interesting about Limon is that, for example, on Phantom is going to harvest all the FTM across all the exchanges that provide liquidity mining programs for ICE FTM, and it's going to automatically sell it, creating at the moment with the buying pressure of like $70,000 to $80,000 per day, additional to the fees that are generated by the protocol across all other markets. I think it's going to look very fucking interesting. And yes, I'm looking forward to be rich because I deserve it. I had too many years at McDonald's. Too many fries cooked.
With that being said, I have to get back to my shift at McDonald's. My break is over now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't forget to put more ice into the Coke.
Will do.
Keep that ice cream machine working.
Give some free ice cream to the fellas. Preach the right. Ciao. Ciao.
Hey, thanks for hosting the AMA. I got two questions. When do you think? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Sir.
Okay. Two questions. When are you guys going to end the ICE? Liquidity reward, a staking reward program?
For now, it's not going to end.
Okay.
We should vote in ending it. For now, nobody has voted to end it, so I don't know. If somebody makes a proposal to end it, we will need to vote to end it.
Got it. Because I'm assuming that that's also one of the contributing forces that's causing the dumping of ICE, because I'm assuming some of those guys are just dumping whatever they're getting and to get additional LPs stake.
Yeah, it's likely, but now, as I said just before, I was just a little bit having fun. But we need to start creating buy pressure on our end, and we need to control the amount of liquidity or mining programs that we give to LP based on what is our acquired power, right? So we can start bringing the price up.
And I think that's also going to be happening once Fragola is out, right? In terms of
exactly
an actual product being there and everything.
Yeah.
And my second question is, I think earlier on the call somebody mentioned that there's an app or there's some place where you can figure out if you've been sandwich attacked or not. What exactly is that? If that person can speak up.
Yeah, so it's a website that basically looks at the transactions in your wallet, and it will look when you've been front run or sandwiched when you were doing transactions. I think it's designed to look at transactions that have happened on Uniswap.
Got it.
I do think the team are expanding on that, but yeah. So if you go to I believe it's sandwiched.wtf, and you just put you don't have to connect your wallet. It is an option. You just put your wallet address. It should tell you, how much you've been sandwiched for if you have in the past. So how much a bot or a bad actor has managed to extract in value from your trades.
No, thanks. Was that sandwich.tf? You said.
Let me double check it while I'm here. So
WTF,
yeah, it is. It should be WTF, but I'm just going to double check if it's sandwich. Sorry about this, guys. So sandwiched, so ed at the end, .wtf.
.wtf, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, about this, what is very interesting on the work that Alchemist has done and something that we are exploring to work together on is actually front-running protections, because both a protocol like Sorbetto and a protocol like Yearn, the more time passes, the more we're going to experience front-run problems in many different things, even in simple things like adding to curve pools, etc., etc. As long as there is profit, is going to happen. And Mistex is one of their first ventures to tap into these problems, but scaled up to more business-to-business standpoint of view. Just by the fact that we accrue these fees, we can be able to pay miners, Alchemist, etc., to give us opportunity to have front-running protections. So this is very important, and the same applies for Yearn, that can be capable of protecting their own users from front-running by paying directly the actors that enable the layer in between the connection from miners to the smart contracts. Just fantastic.
Carlo, did you have a question?
Yeah, mine is a noob question. I'm not an expert as you. When we make an LP on a Uniswap V2, the impermanent loss is predictable. For example, if we LP the pair Ethereum Uniswap F Uni, the 2 token, the pair, we know that if the price of, for example, Uni grow the double of the price of Ethereum, we lose around the 15%. What will this be with the continuous rebalancing of Sorbetto on V3?
Yeah, but man, I mean, I wish I could predict the impermanent loss, because I would be like a true wizard. The reality is that we can calculate the impermanent loss very efficiently, but the fact to predict we could predict how much it could be the maximum impermanent loss, right? But it's very hard to predict how it's going to be the impermanent loss in the future, because the market moves how it wants, right? So you can do that also on Uniswap V2, for example, but it's almost impossible to know how much it's going to be. Like the only way, and I discussed this many, many times, I think that the only way that you can cover yourself from impermanent loss is either using a pair that has one side that is in dollars and covering the side of the crypto exposure, or covering yourself against volatility. So the highest the volatility, the more impermanent loss you're going to have, because you are getting hit by the bad flow, that is the arbitrage, right? So the more arbitrage is happening, the more theoretical impermanent loss you have, because the price of your assets inside of the pool are not at the right price range.
Yeah, my question is, with the V2, we can estimate the maximum impermanent loss, giving a range of growth
one of the two token. With the continuous rebalancing of Sorbetto on Vo3, is there a risk about it that the impermanent loss may be too high or no?
Well, it's going to be the same, and in reality it's going to be very similar. The only difference is that we are going to pay swap fees.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we're going to pay. Yeah, you're welcome.
Caesar, did you have another question?
Yes, actually I did. It's not a question per se, but more of like a call out to all the people here. Currently there are only 2 people who were voted into the multi-sig for these rebalancing jobs, right? The idea is that we want to have several people, this is the way I understand it at least, several people all over the globe so that this can be done in a proper multi-sig fashion where several people can sign these transactions, or at least there's always somebody available. Now, I would like to be able to sleep sometimes, and there's only 2 of us, so I would call for everybody in the community to go through and check the other people and maybe vote in other people. So my question is in the end, like, how many multi-sigs do you guys think we need? And do we need more of them than what there currently is? And if so, we better start getting some more.
There is going to be team members also. I'm going to be in the multi-sign. Squirrel is going to be in the multi-sign. George is going to be in the multi-sign, but we're not going to have the majority as team. I think Vitaly is going to be in the multi-sign, but from the community, we need at least 4 people.
So in total, we want 9, right?
Yeah. So we need, please go ahead and go propose yourself to be a multi-signer and go vote, please, for who is willing to take the time to do this.
Again, you can find all the proposals in the resource channel in our Discord.
Yeah, and also on Popsicle.finance/governance.
Yeah, and if you're unsure of how to apply or anything, just ask in general inside of the Discord.
Yeah.
Or DM me directly. I can just help you through, and you can just see how it goes. I'm Romy, by the way, one of the mods.
Joe, you wanted to speak something about the mistakes before?
Mistakes? Oh, just to give an idea about the product itself. So, Mistex is, as you said earlier, you've introduced it very well. It's basically a flash DEX which incorporates flashbots, basically. So any transaction that you do on there is tunneled through flashbots and is given directly to miners. So you don't have an issue where a transaction goes into the public mempool and then bad actors pick up the transaction that you're trying to take and the slippage and make use out of that. So it's a very interesting concept. It's one of is the first flash DEX of its kind. And it's just one of the ways that flashbots could be incorporated. It's one of the things that we just started with. The Mistex team have done a fantastic job with it. And it actually uses Uniswap V2 liquidity and Sushi Swap. So if anyone is interested to have a look at that, that's a very safe kind of way to do any large transactions, even small ones. And it's an interesting concept because it's also gasless. You do have a fee involved, and that fee is related to a miner tip. So, unfortunately, miners to mine transactions, they have to be paid one way or another. But you pay a miner tip instead of paying gas for inclusion into a mining block. But yeah, it's a very interesting and new concept, and it's definitely worth people looking out for. I'm sure there'll be a lot of new stuff related to flashbots in the future. So this is just a start from our side.
Yeah.
Bowtie, did you have a question?
Hey. Just a real quick question on my side. In relation to the provision of liquidity into, Sorbetto, my accent isn't right, but Sorbetto, the assets that are to be provided into that particular function, would it be single asset only, or would it have to be, dual assets assigned in a specific proportion, similar to how we sort of add liquidity into Uniswap version 3 at this point in time?
So I can speak a bit about the UX. So in terms of the UX, there's two options. There's, on the one hand, there's the option of zapping in with one asset. And so obviously the PLP, the Popsicle LP, is always going to be in some sort of a range, right? So it might be 70-30, 50-50, whatever it is. And so if you come in with one asset, it just zaps in that amount and then sells and buys for the other amount. Or you can come in with two assets and deposit the same amount, deposit the exact amount that the PLP is in the range, so 70-30 or whatever. So it's really up to you how you do it. Capital efficiency-wise, it's obviously the best to just deposit the exact amount that the range is actually doing.
Oh, that's great. And just as another sort of follow-up question, I think this was kind of asked previously or hinted upon previously, but the current strategy you mentioned is we'll be looking at a 7-day range, and then we'll be adding an extra 5%. Did you mention above and below to determine what sort of range we'll be setting within Uni v3 or within the sort of function that we sort of have within Sorbetto? And then using that to sort of ensure that any LPs that we sort of create generate fees, right? So it's sort of like a safe sort of range. Will there be any additional functionality where we add in an extra criteria where if the impermanent loss is, let's say, greater than that of the fees generated, the LP will automatically be, taken out and sort of recreated with the current liquidity added back in? I'm not sure if that sort of makes sense, but is there going to be an extra bit of functionality in the future or criteria in the future that would sort of limit any impermanent loss by matching it off against fees earned? Not sure if that makes sense.
Well, it's the point is that it's very difficult to predict what is going to be the impermanent loss, because impermanent loss is very relative to the time frame, right? So the longer the time goes by, theoretically the less, unless it's monodirectional, it's just dumping you wrecked, but in reality, you could consider that maybe the first week you might not be making money because it's going down, but the second week is going up, and you are back in the similar range in which you were at the beginning, and you're actually earning money. So it's a little bit tricky to do what you're suggesting, because it would require some sort of idea, the LP by default need to understand that return comes with risk. The risk is that the one side of your LP is always going down. That is the reality. So take that in consideration. It's not free money. It's not safe money. All right?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
We make sure that you get the most out of what is possible to extract in the risk that you choose to be, right?
It kind of sounds like, sorry. Yep. It kind of sounds like you're turning, your assets into I'm not sure if this is the right term, but dividend, generating sort of, asset rather than purely looking at capital gains. I don't know if that's the right sort of way to sort of look at it.
It's actually right. It looks like I would be LPing, eat, stake, eat. The fees are not going to cover the direction in which it's going to go, right? So with the by LPing something like ETH USDT, you are always going to be partially exposed to the direction in which Ethereum is going to go. So you're trying to offset that directionality by extracting the maximum amount possible of fees with your exposure, right?
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you very much for that explanation.
So I think it's important to like as an asset class, it's just like that. Like, for example, I make a good example. Like, I think a good example is the Ethereum WBTC pool. The Ethereum WBTC pool is a crypto directional pool, in my opinion, because you are kind of betting that the spread in between Ethereum and BTC is not going to be that big over the longer period of time. And in the meantime, you're not interested on being monodirectional on any of those assets, but you are directional on the market over a longer term of time. So you can leave that LP and it's going to make, 10-20%, rather than having an exposure on one single of those assets. You're kind of in a basket, like an ETF sort of thing that is paying you some money.
Yeah, it makes sense. So it's like a sort of a theoretical, position. So any impermanent loss that you sort of lose is just purely theoretical. The fact that you have sort of an LP with dual assets kind of means you're diversified between, let's just say, BTC and Ethereum, for example, or Ethereum and USDC.
Yes, especially in those pools, right? So, but you're always buying the asset, like in exchange of these fees, you're always in the case of going down, right? You're always buying the assets. You're a net buyer of the asset that is performing worst, and you're a net seller of the asset that is performing relative to the other the best. But in exchange, you get a return, right?
Yeah, makes 100% sense. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, that's also why I think there is two reasons why the ETH pools against the token are more prevalent. One of the reasons I think is flash loans, but the other bigger reason is impermanent loss. So in a directional market, you are better off LPing two cryptos rather than having one side that is USDT or whatever, right?
Yep, makes sense. Yep.
But it's also sad because who knows, like if your main liquidity is exclusively on crypto to crypto pairs, then the redirectionality of the other asset can be very bad for your token, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beard,
I have a question that comes up, kind of springs off of this. Oh, can I go? Yeah. Anyway, so I've got a question that springs off of bow ties here. One of the things he said was, is it possible to like pull out the funds and redistribute or redeploy them based on impermanent loss? Is it correct in my understanding that all of the funds, every time we rebalance, all of the funds will or will not be taken out and redeployed? Like, is that or is it just simply take some of the funds out, sell them for the other, and deploy those? Or is it everything comes out, we change the ratios, and then we put everything back in?
No, 30. So it's going to be by principle the fees plus the percentage that is missing. So if it moves out of range and is at 80%, it's going to take 30% of the funds, or minus the fees that are accrued. It's going to swap them for the part of the direction that it needs to rebalance, right? Not all. Not everything. It's not going to rebuild the whole position.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Beard, please. Hello.
Hey, so
ciao.
Yeah, thank you. I had a question about, I guess basically, so anybody, when we all saw Uni V3 get announced, we basically knew that whoever could dominate the LP strategy for it would be a huge project. And so I've been a holder of Mist for a while. But I wonder if you consider Visor to be the biggest competitor. Obviously, Visor is a fork of Mist, and they're actively trying to do LP strategies for it. And so I guess the main thing, too, is I know they started their Gamma strategies, which they're using to come up with the best strategies for LPing. And so I just didn't know if there was something y'all have planned, or how you're coming up with the strategies, or how we're researching the strategies.
I don't think that I can say that Visor is a competitor, because I don't think anything that is custodial is competitive to something that is non-custodial. Additionally, I think that Visor has rugged recently, a few days ago, so their whole thing is pretty much dead. And we have an ethos that it's more maybe conservative. I think that the two complex strategies are not going to win on V3 because of the impermanent loss that we were talking about just now. It can be really, really bad. Like I did personally some simulations, and like it just destroys the LP to be too much active into the strategy. Needs to be the right amount of passive and active, so you don't need to rebalance too much.
Okay, yeah, that's what I still hold some Visor. I was a bigger believer in Visor still, with their whole custodial thing that came out. And I hoped Mist was going this direction, but I wasn't sure to the LP strategy stuff. So, really looking forward to the Ice and Alchemist.
Well, try it out in 24 hours. Within 24 hours, it's going to be on our website and popsicle.finance, and you can try it out. You can. There is no cap. It's fully audited and has been developed with a lot of love, which is important.
And by the way, just on the note of Danny shilling all the links, inside of the Git book, there's a tutorial on Sorbetto Fragola. So if there's any questions that come up while using it, just go to the Git book.
Yeah, we published everything there. Visor was using some the Crucible in some weird way. I don't know.
I don't specifically know what their use was, but yeah. The only thing I can say is I saw the announcement about the hack, or not the hack, sorry, the pool of funds, but I don't know anything more than that myself, so I wouldn't comment personally.
Yeah, what I just comment is that I go on. It's just a custodial solution, right? So that's why they could rug. So that's the whole reason why I don't think we even compete. Right.
Yeah, so
pull out funds from. Yeah, they could fucking pull out funds from the freaking thing, right? What the hell? It was even nice because he could have pulled all the money.
I don't know. Again, I don't know about the way they've structured their contracts or their strategy. But again, like we're entirely like non-custodial, so
exactly.
I don't, something like that can't happen effectively.
Yeah, and I think the first use case of Mist Ice or Popsicle Alchemist is effectively the liquidity mining, which is great for starting and heating things up, and we'll start working together. And I guarantee you, Beard, that you will be amazed about the fucking cool shit that Alchemist and the Popsicle teams can do together. Just pure domination.
Yeah, we're very much also looking forward to see what we come up with. So it's going to be very exciting for both communities and people looking from outside. So yeah, it's again, like it's an amazing thing to consider passive liquidity mining. So yeah, very exciting stuff.
So hi. Thanks, I've been listening in, and it's pretty amazing work all teams are doing. But just on the visor stuff, because I was a holder and I was quite pissed off. It's like it was almost like the dev didn't understand the code because they could have burnt everything, and they could have burnt everything then liquidate, but they only liquidated the free funds. So he potentially could have pulled out a lot more than 500k by burning everything. But luckily, he was an intern.
Yeah, I think it was the developer of their own project that they didn't even know what he was doing.
He couldn't rug properly, so I think
they couldn't even. So the expectation, I mean, from this team, I don't want to be bad, but he couldn't even be a chief rug puller like me. If it was me, I would have pulled the fuck out of that contract and go to live in Bahamas forever. Unfortunately, fortunately, he couldn't do it, right?
That's why you're the chief rug puller. Thank you very much for having me.
I tried to get Danny and Georgie to put everything into Visor, but they didn't want to get rugged.
Yeah, he tried to
I tried to rug them.
Yeah, Squirrel tried to rug me. There was a day in which Squirrel sent me this thing and say, "Oh, look at these guys." And then I look at it. We were in a chat together, and I was like, "This thing is custodial. I tell you, be aware." And everybody was like, "Yeah, but they're cool branding." Yeah, I mean, all right. And then when it happened, it was pretty funny to me. Well,
it was not funny to me at all.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry about it. Like, I can guarantee you can look at the report on Pack Shield and soon also the report on from Certic that is non-custodial. Everything is clean. We can touch your funds. And literally, I'm a chief rug puller, but I just rug pull myself buying shit coins and getting wrecked. So that's why I'm a chief rug puller.
I think to add to the Visor thing, so obviously we've been told that part of our code has been forked, and that was contributed to their project. But obviously, again, I don't really know. But yeah, to turn it, so if that is what happened and they turned it into a custodial form, I mean, it's an unfortunate thing because we really believe what we've created is kind of a big step forward for this solution to DeFi and having to stake your funds in another pool, so give away ownership effectively of your tokens. Again, anyway, that's none of my business really. So I mean, what we're doing here is trying to create good solutions for everyone at the same time.
Yeah. By the way, I'm very sorry, Samuel, for your bad experience with Visor. Unfortunately, when the market starts to look like this, a lot of projects that don't start with just the intention of building and making things happen to a little bit, figure out ways to.
Oh, so sorry, Daniela. You don't have to apologize. I get rugged in bear markets, bull markets. It's all fault of mine. I'd also like to give a big shout out to the dollar protocol that's rugged me like 4 times in a row. But hey,
whoa, man. Well, then you shouldn't come here because I'm gonna rug at $69. Everybody knows. It's like everybody knows that when I say $69, I'm gonna rug. So you're gonna get rugged here again.
Samuel, come and stake some LP in the Crucible and feel like have a good sleep at night.
I only deal with unaudited contracts, so I'm not sure that's my market.
Oh, okay.
You want to get rugged, you mean?
Yo, guys, anyway, anyone that has questions, no matter what type of questions they are, please go ahead and come, man.
There's a guy who asks on Discord if we're going to start with the buybacks of Vice even before NICE.
Yes. It's gonna be from the beginning.
Hey, can I ask a question? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I'm on my shift at McDonald's on my lunch break, so I gotta make it quick.
Yes, sir.
I have an IQ much lower than all of you, so I just want to make sure when I'm reading on the Git book how to join a new position, once Sorbetto Fragola launches, and I just want to make sure. So you guys have added a cool UI thing that, if I'm not mistaken, it will allow me to, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to create an LP token. I don't have to join proportionally. Theoretically, if I just had one Ethereum, for instance, or for example, I could just join with that, and then I can choose slippage and everything on your actual site.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Simplicity is key.
Yeah, we want to make it possible for anyone to be able to join this type of pools.
Popsicles are easy to suck, so we're easy to use.
Yeah.
I love it.
The problem is how you use it, though. That's the thing.
I mean, right now, I'm sucking a popsicle. By the way, I forgot. This is an important question. What the fuck are we going to do in ETHCC? Are we going to get drunk all together? Is anybody here coming to ETHCC? What are we going to do? Are we going to lick popsicles, vodka popsicles all together? What is going to happen? Like, anyone is coming, like, please, let's make a channel on Discord about it. Like, who is coming or whatever.
Yeah, sure. We can do it. Yeah.
I think it's worth it. I mean, I was thinking to take some sort of venue or something, because the sushi guys are going to make like a pre-party, like a dinner party. And then after, I'm more of an after party kind of guy. So maybe we should make an event at 1 a.m. in the morning.
I bought tickets, but I will be alone. So if the Popsicle team would make something, I think I will come.
Yo, dude, you have to come. What the hell?
100%.
I mean, you need to be.
Yeah, I don't know what to do if I will be alone. I never been to a crypto conference before. I'm just a teenager.
The Popsicle party. How old are you?
I'm 19. I will be 20 soon.
Okay. As long as you are over 18 years old, everything is fine.
Okay.
Danny, you announced that it's PG-18, so there's only over 18-year-olds here.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Danny's making sure. Danny's making sure. Always cover your ass. Great idea.
I think this cycle we made more 15 years old millionaires than 30 years old millionaires. I guarantee you.
No, luckily I didn't buy the Safe Moon.
No? You didn't buy the sheep coins? I mean, I think all the 15 years old bought the sheep, all this kind of shit coins.
His IQ is too high. He's in Popsicle.
Yeah, exactly. It's way too high.
Yeah,
dude.
me too. I bought Doge though, so that's kind of sad.
No, Doge is the ultimate coin. Like Doge more than Bitcoin. Let's be realistic.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks. Everybody's making fun of me when I say that, but if you say that changes the story.
But you know that I am a Doge millionaire, so
absolutely. That's why. We have two more questions. Can I get them through to you?
Yes, sir.
First thing, how soon can we use our position as collateral with Abra, for example?
Very good question. I don't know. I think the first position that will come as collateral on Abracadabra will be USDC, USDT.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions?
There's another one that says, so I was going through the Fragola docs, there is a claim fee button. How the auto compound would work for the LPs? I think you already went slightly through it, but if you want to go ahead.
So the idea here is that if you don't, if it doesn't rebalance, it just generates the fees, right? When it rebalances, it uses the fees during the rebalance, so we don't spend too much gas. So in the timing within it doesn't rebalance, you can claim the fees. When it rebalances, the LP is worth more.
Sounds good. Fisher.
Fisher.
What's up, guys?
Yo,
Is that
How are you?
Fisher?
What's up, dude?
How are you? Hey,
Vote for Fisher. Vote for Fisher
thinking,
for
man,
president.
if we all meet up, I just want to make sure that when we have dinner, we just get like a massive spread of Big Macs at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And that will be the dinner.
Yo,
I
that's
just
the
wanted to ask
venue.
that
I
question.
love it.
Yeah, let's
McDonald's
do
is
it.
the venue.
Yes,
Like take over a McDonald's and just have a bunch of just bring a bunch of popsicles and just have a giant Big Mac and popsicle
Let's
feast.
do it. Dan, let's do it.
We'll make them change the McFlurry for the popsicles on the menu.
So let's look like this. We do a pre-party before the party. Are you coming to Paris?
I don't know. I would like to. That'd be awesome.
Come, man. Because this you just gave us the best idea. We go to McDonald's from 11 to 1 a.m. and then we go full of McFlurries and vodka popsicles. We go to some club and we rent the whole club and we make
No. You're understanding wrong, Danny. McDonald's is the club.
McDonald's is the club.
We throw a party at McDonald's.
We go from a dinner to McDonald's. We get fucked up at McDonald's, and while being at McDonald's, we can eat burgers and popsicles.
Done.
That's perfect.
Done. Perfect.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
With the amount of people I heard today who work for McDonald's, you should be able to get a family discount as well.
Yeah, really, we have specific special discounts, man. Are you coming, Joe, to the ATCC?
Unfortunately, I won't be. I've got a newborn, so I have to stay at home. Yeah. But I would have loved to come down and see you guys and have a bit of a break from all of this as well. You know, it's a lot of hard work from every direction. I'm sure you're feeling it as well. It's nice to just take a few moments to enjoy what we've done and meet everyone involved as well in other communities.
Yo, Uncle Badgers, my dude. What's up?
Yo, man. How you doing? Great talk, by the way.
Thank you. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, I've been following you closely. I've got one question. It's basically just about the future of the crucibles. And I guess like with Sorbet, you could have like a Badger LP and like a Min and Al USD, so Alchemist LP, all in the same place, all in the same occur in the same wards in the same place. Do you reckon that's the future of what like Sorbet would be? Is like you can have multiple different DeFi platforms that you LP for that occur in the same place in the crucible, and then eventually one day you can like leverage that crucible with like all your LPs in one place.
Yes, that would be optimal.
You're playing 4D chess here, Uncle Badger.
Uncle Badger is the only one that can see shit happen before even I think it. Thank you for the great DJ ideas, my friend.
No problem, man. I'm glad someone's building it because I can't build for shit.
Dude, he called out the Crucible before even like literally we had a closed group on Alchemist, and nobody could see it, and he called it out. It was like, I think that it's gonna happen with the V3 and the Crucible, and all this stuff is pretty cool. Nice.
Thanks, Uncle.
I just love the collaboration between DeFi, and I think Mist is crazy with the NFT crucibles, and what Danny's doing is amazing as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Let's go. But I'm more looking forward to the McDonald's party now.
That's all in your head now, huh? Uncle Badger, like, you don't even know what he said. You're still thinking about McDonald's.
Yeah. I mean, any other question, guys? Please go ahead, come to the stage.
Will the Popsicles have their own NFT? So you know how like the Crucible, like a Popsicle Crucible, will have a unique NFT?
Yeah, we should look into it, Joe, when we have time.
Yeah, we'll look at the possibilities and stuff. It's a separate team for NFTs, but I'll create the connection for you and we'll open the discussion.
Maybe we can license something from Beeple, and he can make us the NFT for us.
I was going to think you were going to say license something from McDonald's for a second. But, yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. We have a fantastic NFT team, but again, like if you find connecting with people, yeah, I mean, we'll work something out.
Yeah, but it's cool. I saw some of your NFTs; are super beautiful.
Thanks, man. Yeah, the team's doing a fantastic job.
Ciao, John Smith. No, he went away. John Smith. Well,
I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. If you joined late, you will find this recording of the AMA on our Discord channel, so discord.gg/popsicle. So wrapping it up, shit is fucking dope. It's gonna launch in the next 24 hours. The partnership with the Alchemist is gonna moon everything, and it's gonna be super dope, and the future that lies ahead is insane. We are gonna start working with Badger and other projects to help them coping with their liquidity needs across all the exchanges. We are gonna start working on supporting V3 LPs through Popsicle Fragola, on top as collateral on Abracadabra. I mean, the future is bright, even if the sea of red is in front of us. But I mean, just reduce your expenses as usual, and just wait, because I think the cycle is not over.
Go eat at McDonald's, basically.
Exactly, like the 99p chicken mayo.
Amazing, mamma mia!
Not the Happy Meal.
The Happy Meal. Yes, sir.
You even get a toy
just
with
to keep
it,
you
right?
happy during the time.
Well, when I was...
Oh, yeah, the toy will keep you busy, yeah.
When I was 19, I was in London. I had no fucking money. The only thing I could afford was the 99p chicken mayo. And no soda, anything. And I was going with the old McDonald's fucking glass and the toilet to take water. Yeah, it still tastes good. So success is made of hard times. So who can endure and stick to their decisions is gonna win. So this is what I think.
The mic drop. Now you just gotta leave, Danny.
He actually did.
And he's gone.
There we go. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks
everyone. It's been fantastic.
See you guys. Bye.
We've enjoyed all of it.
Amazing. If you want to see this recording, as we said, it's going to be posted on our Discord. And take care, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, and join the Popsicle and Alchemist Discords. And check out the Git book for sure as well.
Yep.
Ciao.
Ciao, everyone. Ciao.